Ravi had been painting houses for many years. He learned the work from his father and later worked alone. He knew how old buildings behaved. He knew the sound of weak plaster and the smell of damp walls. Still, the house he stood in that morning felt different from the moment he entered. The house was old and quiet. It stood at the far end of the town where few people walked. The roof leaned slightly, and the windows stayed shut even during the day. Many people believed the house was empty, but it was not. An old woman named Meena lived there alone. Meena was thin and silent. Her eyes looked tired, as if she had seen too many years. When Ravi came for the job, she spoke very little. She pointed toward the stairs and said that the small room near them needed fresh paint. She told him not to touch anything else in the house. Her voice was calm but firm. Ravi agreed. He needed the money and did not want trouble. He carried his tools into the room and closed the door behind him. The room was narrow and cold. Light came in through a small window covered with dust. The walls were thick with old paint layers. The floor creaked when Ravi moved. He placed his bucket down and began scraping the wall carefully. Paint fell in small pieces. White paint covered green paint. Under the green paint was yellow. Ravi worked slowly and patiently. This kind of work did not rush. He focused on the wall, letting time pass quietly. After some time, his scraper stopped suddenly. Ravi frowned and pressed harder. The tool did not move. The wall felt strange under his hand. He touched it with his fingers and noticed the surface felt smoother than the rest of the wall. It was flat and cold. He scraped again. The sound was hollow. Ravi stepped back. He tapped the area with his knuckles. The sound came back empty, like tapping on wood. Walls in houses like this were usually solid stone. This was different. Curiosity rose inside him. He scraped more paint away from that spot. Slowly, straight lines began to appear. Clear edges formed under the old paint. Ravi realized he was uncovering something shaped with care. A rectangle. His heart beat faster. He cleaned the edges with slow movements. It was not damage. It was not a repair. It was something built on purpose. It was a door. Ravi felt his mouth go dry. He looked around the room. Everything was still. The house made no sound. He thought of Meena's warning. Paint only. Nothing else. He told himself to stop. But his hands did not listen. He searched the surface and found a small round mark in the center. It was almost hidden. Ravi pressed it gently without thinking. A soft click echoed in the room. Ravi jumped back. His chest tightened. He waited, listening for footsteps. No one came. The house stayed silent. The door shifted slightly. A thin gap opened. Cold air flowed out, touching his face. The smell was old and heavy, like a place closed for many years. Ravi hesitated. Fear mixed with curiosity inside him. He should leave. He should close it and forget what he saw. But the need to know pushed him forward. He pulled the edge of the door slowly. It opened just enough for him to see inside. Behind the wall was a narrow passage. Stone steps led downward into darkness. The passage was too smooth to be natural. Someone had made it. Ravi stepped back, breathing fast. He wiped his hands on his clothes. His mind filled with questions. Why hide a door behind a wall? Why seal a passage inside a house? Why did Meena never mention it? He looked at the stairs again. Something moved. Ravi froze. His heart pounded loudly in his ears. He leaned closer, trying to see. The light from the room barely touched the steps. Shadows stretched deep into the passage. He told himself it was nothing. Maybe dust falling. Maybe his eyes playing tricks on him. Then he heard a sound. It was not loud. It was slow. A soft dragging sound coming from below. Ravi felt fear rise in his chest. He wanted to close the door and run. But his feet stayed where they were. His hands shook. The sound stopped. Silence returned. Ravi took a deep breath. He reached for the door to close it. As his fingers touched the edge, he noticed something carved into the inner side of the door. Words. Old and faint. He wiped the dust gently and read them. Do not open. Ravi pulled his hand back as if burned. His heart raced faster. The warning felt too real. This was not a joke. This was not decoration. Footsteps suddenly echoed outside the room. Ravi turned quickly. The door handle moved. Meena stood there. Her eyes went straight to the open wall. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The air felt heavy. Meena's face changed. Fear flashed across it, then anger. She stepped forward slowly. You were not supposed to see that, she said quietly. Ravi tried to speak, but no words came out. His throat felt dry. He pointed toward the wall without thinking. What is that place? He asked. Meena did not answer right away. She walked past him and stood in front of the hidden door. She stared at the passage like someone looking at a memory they wanted to forget. Some doors are hidden for a reason, she said. She reached out and pushed the door closed. The wall looked normal again, as if nothing had ever been there. Meena turned to Ravi. You will finish the paint and leave today, she said. And you will never speak of this. Ravi nodded slowly, but his mind was racing. He knew one thing clearly. Behind that wall was something meant to stay hidden. And now he had seen it. Ravi left the house before sunset. His tools felt heavier than usual in his hands. The street outside looked normal, but his mind was not. Every step away from the house made his chest feel tight. He did not look back, yet the image of the hidden door stayed clear in his thoughts. That night, Ravi could not sleep. He lay on his bed staring at the ceiling. Every small sound made him alert. The wind brushing the window. A distant dog barking. The soft tick of the clock. Each sound reminded him of the hollow noise behind the wall. His mind kept returning to the passage and the steps going down. He remembered the smell of cold air. He remembered the words carved inside the door. Do not open. Most of all, he remembered Meena's face. The fear in her eyes was real. She had not looked angry at him. She had looked scared. Ravi turned on his side and closed his eyes, but sleep did not come. His thoughts began to change. Fear slowly turned into questions. Why hide something inside a house? Why warn someone not to open it? Why live alone in a place like that? By morning, Ravi made a choice he knew was dangerous. He would go back. The next day, Ravi returned to the house early. The town was quiet. The sky was gray. When he reached the house, he stood outside for a long moment. The windows looked dark as always. He knocked. No answer. He knocked again. Still nothing. Ravi checked the door. It was not locked. Slowly, he pushed it open and stepped inside. The house smelled the same as before. Cold and old. Meena was not there. Ravi told himself he would only finish the paint job and leave. That was the plan he repeated in his head as he walked toward the small room. The wall looked normal again. Fresh paint covered the spot where the door had been. No lines. No mark. Nothing. Ravi stared at it for a long time. He began scraping carefully. The paint came off easily. Slowly, the familiar shape returned. Straight edges. Clean lines. The hidden door was still there. Ravi's heart pounded, but he continued. He pressed the small round mark again. Click. The door opened slightly. Cold air flowed out once more. Ravi paused. He listened closely. The house stayed silent. He pulled the door open wider and held his breath. The passage waited for him. He stepped inside. The stone steps were narrow but steady. Ravi moved slowly, one step at a time. The light from the room faded behind him. Darkness wrapped around him like a blanket. The air grew colder as he went down. The smell changed too. It smelled dry, like an old place untouched by time. After several steps, his foot touched flat ground. The passage opened into a small room. Ravi raised his phone and turned on its light. The beam revealed stone walls and a low ceiling. The room was empty except for one thing. A wooden box sat in the center. Ravi approached carefully. The box was old but strong. Strange symbols were carved into its surface. He had never seen markings like these before. He touched the box. It was cold. A sound echoed behind him. Ravi spun around. Meena stood at the top of the stairs. Her face looked pale. Her hands trembled as she held the wall for support. "I told you not to open it," she said. Ravi swallowed hard. "I had to know," he replied softly. Meena slowly walked down the steps. Her movements were careful, like she feared the place itself. She stopped beside him and looked at the box. "This house belonged to my family for many years," she said. "Long before I was born." Ravi stayed quiet. "There was something found under this land," Meena continued. "Something people could not understand. They thought hiding it was the safest choice." She looked at Ravi with tired eyes. "That box holds what they left behind." Ravi felt a chill. "Why keep it here?" he asked. Meena took a deep breath. "Because it cannot be destroyed," she said. "And it must not be taken away." Ravi looked at the box again. His curiosity burned stronger than fear. "What happens if it is opened?" he asked. Meena shook her head. "No one knows for sure," she said. "But those who tried never came back the same." Ravi stepped back slowly. The weight of her words pressed on him. He felt regret rise inside him. "I am sorry," he said. Meena nodded. "Curiosity brings people here," she said. "It always has." She walked toward the box and placed her hand on it gently. "It reacts to new people," she added. "That is why you heard sounds." Ravi's heart skipped. "It reacts," he repeated. Before Meena could answer, the ground beneath them vibrated slightly. The box began to hum, low and deep. Meena's eyes widened. "You should not have come twice," she whispered. The symbols on the box began to glow faintly. The light pulsed slowly, filling the room with a soft glow. Ravi stepped back toward the stairs. "What is happening?" he asked. Meena did not answer. She stared at the box in fear. The hum grew louder. Ravi knew one thing for sure. Whatever was hidden here was no longer sleeping. And it had noticed him. The soft glow from the wooden box filled the small room under the house. Ravi stood near the stairs, his back pressed against the cold stone wall. His breathing felt shallow. The low hum from the box vibrated through the ground and into his chest. Meena stepped back slowly. Her eyes stayed fixed on the glowing symbols. She had seen this before, though never this strong. Her hands shook as she lifted them away from the box. "It is waking up," she said in a low voice. Ravi swallowed hard. "You said it reacts to new people," he replied. "What does that mean?" Meena closed her eyes for a moment, as if gathering strength. Then she spoke. "This place remembers," she said. "It remembers everyone who comes too close." The hum deepened. The glow grew brighter. The symbols on the box began to shift slightly, as if moving like shadows underwater. Ravi felt dizzy. Images flickered in his mind. They were not clear at first. Just shapes and colors. Then faces began to form. He saw people standing in this same room. Men and women dressed in old clothes. Their faces showed fear and wonder. They touched the box just like he had. Ravi gasped and clutched his head. "Meena," he said. "I can see things." Meena nodded slowly. "It is showing you memories," she said. "It always does." Ravi slid down the wall until he sat on the cold floor. The images grew stronger. He saw hands building the stone passage. He saw the door being sealed behind layers of paint. He saw people arguing, pointing, shaking their heads. One image stayed longer than the rest. A young woman holding the box. Her face looked tired but calm. She spoke words Ravi could not hear, yet somehow understood. Protect it. Hide it. Do not let it leave. The image faded. Ravi opened his eyes. The room felt heavier now, like the air itself had weight. That woman, Ravi asked. Who was she? Mina's face softened. She was my grandmother, Mina said. She was the last one to touch the box directly. Ravi felt a chill. What happened to her? He asked. Mina looked away. She lived, Mina said. But she was never the same. She stopped speaking much. She refused to leave the house. She spent her life guarding this place. The hum from the box began to change. It was no longer steady. It pulsed faster, like a heartbeat. Ravi struggled to stand. It feels angry, he said. Mina shook her head. Not angry, she replied. Curious. The symbols suddenly dimmed, then flared brighter than before. A sharp wave of cold swept through the room. Ravi staggered back. The box lid trembled. Ravi's eyes widened. Is it opening? He asked. Mina rushed forward and placed both hands on the box. No, she said firmly. It must not open. The hum grew louder. The stone walls vibrated. Dust fell from the ceiling. Ravi looked toward the stairs. Fear took hold of him. We should leave, he said. Mina nodded quickly. Yes, she said. Now. They turned toward the steps, but before they could move, the room went silent. The hum stopped. The glow faded. The box sat still. Ravi froze. Mina slowly removed her hands. It is listening, she whispered. A voice filled Ravi's mind. It was not loud, yet it felt close. It did not speak words. It shared feelings. Loneliness. Waiting. Time without end. Ravi felt tears rise without knowing why. It has been alone, he said softly. Mina nodded. That is why it reacts, she said. It senses new life. Ravi took a step closer to the box before he could stop himself. The symbols glowed faintly again, like a soft breath. What does it want? Ravi asked. Mina hesitated. I think it wants a choice, she said. Ravi looked at her in confusion. A choice, he repeated. Mina met his eyes. It has been hidden for generations, she said. Guarded but never understood. It shows memories because it wants someone to decide its fate. Ravi's chest tightened. Why me? He asked. Mina gave a sad smile. Because you found it twice, she said. And you did not run. The ground trembled lightly again. The box shifted, turning slightly toward Ravi. Ravi's heart pounded. I am just a painter, he said. I do not know how to decide something like this. Mina placed a hand on his shoulder. Sometimes the right people are ordinary, she said. They listen better. The voice in Ravi's mind grew clearer. Images returned, but these were different. He saw open skies. He saw light pouring into the room. He saw the box leaving the house. Then he saw fear. Crowds. People fighting over it. Darkness spreading. Ravi shook his head. It cannot leave, he said quickly. The images changed again. He saw the box sealed deeper. Stone covering stone. The house abandoned. The box forgotten. Loneliness returned stronger than before. Ravi felt torn. His thoughts raced. There must be another way, he said. Mina watched him closely. What do you mean? She asked. Ravi looked at the passage, the stairs, the door above. It does not want to be taken, Ravi said. And it does not want to be forgotten. The box pulsed softly. Mina's eyes widened. You are understanding it, she said. Ravi nodded slowly. It wants a guardian, he said. Not a prison. Silence filled the room. The box lid stopped trembling. The glow steadied. Mina felt hope rise inside her, something she had not felt in years. "What are you saying?" she asked. Ravi took a deep breath. "I will help you protect it," he said. "But we must change how." The box emitted a warm pulse, unlike the cold waves before. Mina covered her mouth in shock. "It agrees," she whispered. Ravi felt exhausted but calm. The fear had not vanished, but it no longer controlled him. "We seal the door again," Ravi said. "But not with lies. We make sure the house is watched. We pass the truth to someone worthy when the time comes." Mina nodded slowly. "That is what my grandmother wanted," she said. "A living promise." The box grew dim. The symbols faded until they were only carvings once more. The room became quiet. Ravi and Mina stood in silence, knowing something had changed forever. Above them, the house waited. And the hidden door was no longer just a secret. It was a responsibility. The room beneath the house felt calm after the box became quiet. Ravi stood still, listening to his own breathing. The fear that once pressed on his chest had softened, but it had not disappeared. Something important had happened, and both Ravi and Mina knew there was no turning back. Mina was the first to move. She walked slowly toward the stairs and placed her hand on the stone wall. Her fingers traced the surface as if greeting an old friend. "This place has waited for a long time," she said. "Maybe it was waiting for you." Ravi shook his head gently. "I did not come looking for this," he replied. "I only wanted to paint a wall." Mina gave a quiet smile. "That is how it always begins," she said. They climbed the stairs together. When Ravi stepped back into the room near the stairs, the light from the window felt brighter than before. The wall looked plain again. The hidden door was sealed behind layers of paint and stone. Mina closed the door to the room and locked it. "No one else can know," she said. Ravi nodded, but doubt crossed his face. "Secrets have a way of escaping," he said. Mina looked at him with tired eyes. "That is why things must change," she replied. They sat at the small wooden table in the kitchen. The house creaked softly around them. Mina poured water into 2 cups with shaking hands. "My family protected the box with silence," she said. "Silence kept it safe, but it also trapped it." Ravi listened carefully. "The box showed me memories," he said. "It showed fear when people tried to take it away. But it also showed pain when it was left alone." Mina nodded. "It needs a guardian who understands balance," she said. "Not control. Not neglect." Ravi stared at the cup in his hands. "I am not staying here forever," he said. "I have my own life." Mina took a deep breath. "I know," she said. "And that is why this cannot depend on one person alone." They spoke for a long time. They planned slowly and carefully. Each word mattered. The box could not leave the house, but the house could no longer remain forgotten. The next morning, Ravi returned with supplies. He was no longer there just to paint. He repaired loose boards and sealed cracks in the walls. He fixed the door near the stairs so it would not creak. Mina watched him quietly. For the first time in many years, she felt less alone. Over the following days, the house began to change. Fresh paint covered the old walls. The smell of dust faded. Light entered through cleaned windows. The house looked lived in again. People in the town noticed. Some stopped to stare. Others whispered. They wondered why the old house was waking up after so many years. Mina began stepping outside more often. She sat on the porch in the afternoons. She spoke with neighbors in short conversations. Nothing about the box. Nothing about the door. Ravi continued to visit daily. Each time he entered the house, he felt a quiet presence beneath his feet. It did not frighten him anymore. It felt watchful. One evening, Ravi stood alone in the small room near the stairs. He placed his hand on the wall where the door was hidden. "I have not forgotten," he whispered. A faint warmth passed through the stone. That night, Ravi dreamed. He stood in the hidden room again, but it was brighter. The box rested peacefully. The symbols glowed softly, not with power but with calm. He felt a sense of trust. When he woke, he knew something important had happened. The next day, a man from the town came to the house. His name was Arun. He worked with property records and old buildings. He said the town was planning repairs in the area. "This house has history," Arun said. "Some people want to study it." Mina's hands trembled slightly. "There is nothing to study," she replied. Arun looked around with interest. "Old houses always have stories," he said. Ravi stepped forward. "This house is private," he said calmly. "It is being restored." Arun hesitated, then nodded. "Just checking," he said. "I will inform the council." When he left, Mina closed the door quickly. "They will keep coming now," she said. Ravi nodded. "Which means we must be ready," he replied. That evening, they returned to the hidden room together. Ravi opened the door just enough to step inside. The box sat silently in the center. Mina stood beside him. "They are curious," she said. "People always are." The box pulsed faintly, as if listening. Ravi spoke softly. "They do not need to know you exist," he said. "But you should not be alone anymore." The warmth returned. Mina felt tears in her eyes. "You trust him," she whispered. Ravi felt the weight of responsibility settle deeper in his chest. "I will not guard you with fear," he said. "I will guard you with care." The box remained still, but the room felt lighter. From that day on, Ravi began keeping records. Not of the box itself, but of the house. Repairs, changes, visitors. Everything had to be watched carefully. Mina taught Ravi everything her grandmother had told her. Stories passed down quietly. Lessons learned through mistakes. Weeks passed. One evening as the sun set, Ravi stood outside the house and looked at it with new eyes. It no longer felt like a place hiding a secret. It felt like a place holding a promise. But deep beneath the stone and paint, the box waited. Not sleeping. Not restless. Waiting for the world to make its next move. And Ravi knew that the hardest test had not yet arrived. The house stood quietly under the early morning light. Fresh paint reflected the sun, and clean windows showed signs of life inside. To anyone passing by, it was only an old home restored by care and time. No one could guess what rested beneath its walls. Ravi arrived before noon, as he did most days now. He carried no tools this time. He carried a notebook. He had begun writing things down. Not secrets, but thoughts, feelings, observations. He believed understanding was the strongest form of protection. Mina was already awake. She sat near the window with a cup of tea. Her posture was stronger than before. The house had changed her as much as it had changed Ravi. "You came early," she said. Ravi smiled. "Some days feel important before they begin," he replied. They shared a quiet breakfast. Outside, the town slowly came to life. Sounds of distant voices and footsteps filled the air. Life moved on, unaware of what lay beneath the stone floor. Later that day, Ravi stood alone in the small room near the stairs. He placed his hand against the wall one last time. The hidden door remained sealed. He felt the gentle warmth beneath his palm. "You are safe," he whispered. "And you are not forgotten." A calm feeling answered him, deep and steady. Ravi stepped back and closed the room carefully. He locked the door and placed the key where only he and Mina knew. That afternoon, Mina did something she had not done in years. She walked through the town market. She greeted familiar faces. She spoke kindly but shared nothing of importance. She felt lighter, as if a heavy weight had been lifted from her shoulders. People noticed. They said the old woman looked younger. Ravi spent the next weeks preparing for change. He returned to his regular painting jobs but visited the house often. He trained his mind to listen more than act. The box beneath the house did not need attention. It needed patience. One evening, a letter arrived. It was from the town council. They planned to survey older homes for safety records. Mina's hands shook as she read it. They will come inside, she said. Ravi read the letter calmly. They will see nothing, he said. Because nothing is visible. The day came. 3 people arrived. They inspected walls, floors, and ceilings. They took notes. They asked polite questions. Ravi answered calmly. This house has been repaired properly, he said. No unsafe areas. They checked the small room near the stairs. Ravi stood beside them as they tapped the walls. The sound was solid. The hidden door did not answer their knocks. One of them paused. This wall feels thicker, he said. Ravi smiled gently. Old houses often are, he replied. They moved on. When they left, Mina sat down and covered her face. Relief washed over her. It worked, she whispered. Ravi nodded. Trust works better than fear, he said. That night, Ravi dreamed again. He saw the box, but this time it did not show memories. It showed silence. Peace. A future that moved slowly and safely. When he woke, he felt sure of his path. Months passed. The house became known as a place of calm. Travelers rested nearby. Neighbors visited Mina for tea. The home no longer hid in shadows. Ravi began teaching a young painter named Kunal. He showed him how to listen to walls, how to respect old places. He never spoke of the hidden door. One evening, Mina handed Ravi a small wrapped object. This was my grandmother's, she said. Inside was a simple metal key. It does not open the door, she said. It opens the box. Ravi froze. Why give this to me, he asked. Mina looked at him steadily. Because one day, I will be gone, she said. And the box will still be here. Ravi closed his fingers around the key. I will not open it, he said. Mina nodded. That is why you must have it. Years passed quietly. The house remained standing. The door stayed closed. The box stayed silent. Ravi grew older. Mina did too. They aged not with fear, but with purpose. One evening, Ravi stood outside the house, watching the sun sink behind the hills. He felt no need to look behind the wall anymore. Some things are not meant to be opened, he thought. They are meant to be understood. Beneath the house, the box rested. Not trapped. Not lonely. Guarded by choice. And the hidden door stayed exactly where it belonged. Closed.